Okay, that was definitely that sounded like Blade music.
That's what it's supposed to be. It is like the season for spooky music. Stuff. So
out the gate, I want to say thank you, Sherry Griffey, for that $10 before we even came onto the stream.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you, Sherry. You're awesome. Let's go ahead and do sound check. Can you guys see us, hear us? Is everything?
Thank you again for that, Sherry.
Yes.
Audio, video, good. Sir Cluffington III, no YouTube notification at all, guys. That is pretty much standard. You can try to turn your notifications off and then back on again.
Yeah, and there's a couple of changes coming down from
YouTube.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that in a second. And kind of like what we're going to end up doing because of it. So thank you, Catherine Gay. It sucks we won't be seeing Catherine Gay at the conference.
I know, Catherine.
Sure.
That would be a mind trip. Jessi goes, white. Joe, you should go blue.
Joe is never going to go blue.
Joe might go blue now. So
I think I have blue dyes still left over. So if you need it. All right. I got rid of my blue hair, Lisa. It was time for a change. I think I had blue hair for what? 5 years, 4 or 5 years.
Something like that.
Yeah. So it was time for a change. I was ready to go to, something a little more subtle, like gray to match Joe. So, all right. Welcome to Hellbent Holler Live. This is our weekly show where we hang out with you guys, the Hellbenders, and have a free-form discussion. Pretty much nothing is off the table as long as it's within the terms of service and you don't get our channel shut down. We'd appreciate that. But we just talk about everything high strangeness, weird, UAPs, paranormal, Dogman, Bigfoot, all of that stuff. We talk about that. But today's kind of a special day because
a very special
episode. Joe is going to get addicted to huffing.
That's what I was going to say. Usually when the very special episodes when I was a kid, like Webster would get strung out on smack or, Gary Coleman. Remember the one where Gary Coleman, the guy gave him the funny juice the kid molester. He got picked up by like a kid molester.
Oh,
It's a very dark episode. So yeah,
Yeah, I'd say so.
he didn't get Gary Goldman did not get diddled, at least on that episode. I don't know what happened in his real world, but they gave him like
Definitely
funny juice.
in the real world.
Yeah. So, I had to start off James Rose. Thank you. 1999.
Thank you.
You guys are
That's
humbling us
cool.
already. It's all the Gary Coleman getting molested talk. It's got
Yeah,
people in a very generous mood.
That's what the
point,
people
so
want.
that's what
You know,
the
that's
people
what they tune in for, is
And
to
that's
hear
what we're
about
gonna give
Gary Coleman getting diddled. I think that's at the gate. That's what they want.
Thank you, James. We really appreciate it, and welcome. Glad you're able to make it tonight. So.
Oh goodness. Yeah. So I was gonna say that you're huffing the like keyboard cleaner stuff. You remember that lady I'm walking on Sunshine?
That was
lady?
the closest thing that I've ever seen to like flat out demonic possession. She's talking about, what was that show called? That was Intervention. And they had people that were like freebasing cocaine, doing like meth, super bad heroin junkies. The scariest person of all time on there was the chick who huffed canned air, like keyboard cleaner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, I'd play the clip, but it would probably, I'm sure they protect that clip, you know, the copyright of that clip with their lives.
I'm walking on Sunshine.
She goes and she buys like 20 cans of like canned air and like an Office Max. And
Yeah.
she's going, they know what I'm going to do with it, but they can't stop me from buying it. She goes into her car, like in the parking lot, just starts huffing it. And you just see it, like one eye drifts off to the side. She has this line where she goes, I'm walking on sunshine. And she just sounds like the most like, let's just say it, the most fucked up person you ever met in your entire life. You know what I'm saying?
I've
like,
seen the devil.
I've seen the devil. So anyway.
Oh, well, all right.
All righty. Well, we're off to a friggin' rousing start here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Is anybody still on here? Or they all like just tune off after that? Willis juice. Yes, indeed. Willis juice. He gave me some juice that made me feel funny. Oh, God.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so this is that was a diversion, wasn't it?
That was a very diversion.
So this is a very special episode because it's the last episode before we set sail for Tennessee, for Burns, Tennessee. We're going to the Montgomery Bell State Park. Joe and I will be there for the Tennessee Wildman and Cryptid Con. I'll be speaking on that Saturday before Mr. Ron Moorhead.
Mm-hmm.
I finished my slideshow presentation last night. So with enough time for us to enjoy a charcuterie board and Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. So my presentation is done.
For those of you who have seen Season of the Witch, Halloween 3, expect that song to pop out on our channel probably ad nauseum as we get closer to Halloween. Let's not do it now. Let's save it. So anyway.
I was actually going to do like a spoof of that commercial from the Silver Shamrock for Helmet Holler. So just look out for that.
What the Flock? We had not seen What the Flock for a couple of weeks. If he's popped in, he's not been his normal rambunctious self. He said he had to search for the stream. Someone must be in the send bin.
I guess I'm in the send bin.
Our channel's been reported a bunch.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that going on from other channels, like reporting us to try to get us taken down. But we're good kids. We ain't done nothing.
I don't deserve to be in the sin bin.
We do not. We ain't done nothing. So.
That ongoing saga with that.
We ain't focusing on that tonight. Tonight, everybody's gonna have a good time.
So they've reported our channel.
Yeah, but we're not gonna focus on that. So you're probably not getting notifications. You're probably not finding us.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna focus on that tonight. There's a lot of crappy stuff going on in the world, and we are going to try to have a few hours.
We're gonna be lighthearted.
Of cryptid levity, cryptid themed levity.
Where is
real quick? Sam Burton is having his Lyme disease flare up. If you are not following Sam Burton on Facebook,
the saga of that,
the saga of Sam Burton on Facebook, just every day it is a trial and tribulation trying to keep that little farm running. I don't spend a lot of time on social media, but I check Sam Burton's page like daily to see
what's drowning in peppers.
Drowning in peppers. He's got him and Ace running around. It's like literally, I'm not exaggerating. I get on Facebook sometimes just to see what's going on with Sam Burton, and then I just get right back off. So.
Somebody asked if we're doing a live stream. I thought you'd start that. Somebody asked if we're doing a live stream on Friday the 13th from the conference. We're going up a little early. We are doing a live stream on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't quite decided exactly what we're going to do. We're going to be up there with all of our friends, Dewey, Barton, Martin, Dee, Sheila Groves is going to be there.
Letitia's going to be
Letitia's
there.
going to be there. We're going to be up there with everybody. Ron Moorhead's going to be running around.
Mhm.
So we're going to be up there with everybody, and we're definitely going to do some live streams, not just one on Friday. We're going to do several throughout the weekend, and I'm going to try to go live a good bit, and I would like to have like a nice little sit down with a few of our folks and do like a live stream. So if you make sure your notifications are turned on, not that you're going to get a notification, but I'll be putting stuff up through the weekend and making posts and doing shorts and stuff like that. So I'll be posting a lot. So hopefully me posting a lot will take us out of the sin bin. But I'm going to kind of update you guys on what's going on, what's happening at the conference. That way, all you guys who couldn't make it can feel like you're there with us, at least to some degree, and you're not really totally missing out on everything.
The women are getting into the old like exes talk now, for God's sake. Drescher married to the devil once.
This is a divorcee club.
Yeah, exactly. So Marcus Aurelius, my cardboard box is coming along nicely. We had mentioned last week, we were going, gosh, Marcus, don't put yourself into like a cardboard box or anything like that. We're friends on Facebook now. And he's like, let me send you photos of my home so that you actually know that I'm not, I'm not putting myself into the poor. He ain't doing too bad for himself. Let's just leave it at that.
The good thing about the cardboard box though is you don't have to buy art. You simply take a pen and just draw your art on.
Ah, there you go. But Marcus sent me pictures of his home, and I'm going to spread his business, but he ain't doing too bad for himself. So there you go. So like we said, he just goes and ships some off the gold bars, and he keeps
stoicism goes a long way.
It goes a long way. It's paying the bills plus some. So,
oh goodness! All right,
all right.
Have you been going through these? Is that what you're doing?
kind of trying to stay somewhat up with them. Like it's and Grizz is Friday the 13th his birthday.
Yes.
His birthday present to himself is he's coming to the conference.
Awesome. That is going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to see you guys who are actually coming up to the conference. That's going to be a lot of fun. You'll definitely see us haunting that resort a good bit.
Yeah.
Joe and I run around like chickens with our heads cut off at every
conference.
We
don't approach these in like a very serious manner. We never have. We probably never will. Like when we did the last like Wild and Weird, we went down and like talked to the hotel desk clerk going, where can we like set up to live stream around here?
Yeah.
She's like, well, that wing down there's haunted. And we're like,
we'll set up.
That's what we're going to, if that's okay with you. We're bribing them with like Help and Holler swag and stuff like that. So
yeah, so we'll definitely be doing some live streams on location. We'll do it during the conference for sure. And then we're going to set up, we're taking all of our studio equipment. We're going to pack that up and take it with us. And so we'll do what we always do when we go to these conferences. We'll do our live stream.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think we're doing our live stream next Monday, right? Because
we may do a live stream Sunday night because we're probably traveling Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So our options are but who knows what we're going to do, man. Keep your notifications on, even if they don't work. Turn them off, turn them back on. And we may end up doing a live stream Sunday night from the hotel before we leave, and then we'll travel Monday.
Yeah.
That's probably what we're leaning towards right now, but I don't want to rule out a Monday night live stream.
If we make it.
I do one from like a damn rest stop. Just pull over and like turn the dash lights on.
We'll find some real cryptids out there. People knocking on the windows.
What are you guys doing?
Susan C says, I'm still trying to talk my husband and driving up to the conference Saturday, but I'm not having much luck. He just laughs at me. That's when you withhold food, Susan. That's when you just withhold food. That is usually what I do, and that works to a degree. And then he gets into the peanut butter with a butter knife, and that's it. He goes all Elon Musk on me.
It does not say how many likes we have again. You've failed.
I've not failed. They're changing everything.
YouTube's changing a bunch of stuff right now.
So they're also doing a thing. If you guys
assume it's not enough likes, and just leave it at that. Assume it's not enough.
They're doing a thing. When I set up the stream today, they said that they are going to start putting ads during live streams, and that I can choose when the ads are on.
Yeah. So can you choose the exact moment? So that way we can like space it out and go, all right, everybody take a bathroom break. Don't stop the stream.
I don't know. But if all of a sudden the stream goes to an ad, we did not do that. We had no choice. So I have it on the default setting. right now, but I can't take it off. And they're doing a new thing where, so I don't know, when you guys watch my videos, you notice that I don't have ads in the middle of my videos. Like you get an ad before and you might get an ad after, but I don't want you guys to be taken out of the moment with my videos. I spend a lot of time and energy and effort making these, and I don't want you to be watching it and really enjoying it, and then all of a sudden an ad for toothpaste comes on, or like a light that you crank to charge up, some weird thing like that, or Candy Crush or whatever. I don't want that to show up in the middle of my videos. So I'm very upset that they're changing a thing in November.
Yeah, because we don't max out ads, you know.
No.
We don't max out ads on purpose, like Jessi said, because I don't want people taken out of the moment when they're watching the stuff.
Yeah.
And Sir Cluffy asked, does that affect for people who have YouTube Premium?
I don't
know. I don't think you see ads at all, but it's a push to get people on YouTube Premium.
Yeah. So we have to decide what we're gonna do about that going forward after November, because they're gonna start doing that. I have no choice in the matter. So
they said another YouTuber had that and was able to skip them somehow. I don't know if we have the ability to skip that going forward. We got an email from like YouTube going, we have noticed that there's only been a 0.23% decrease in watch time, by doing this, and we're going, it's not about the watch time, man.
I don't want people taken out of my
I got a little cough tonight, so you guys gotta bear with me.
I don't want people taken out of the moment when they're watching my videos or like being on the stream. I don't want them to miss something. You know?
Yes, that sucks.
It's live.
We'll figure it out. We're gonna figure something out. We're looking at options, and then what's gonna happen from here. So Spooktator Rob, hand crank flashlights. Everybody always used to have the crappy little like plastic hand crank ones.
Yeah.
Jessi listens to a lot of Art Bell right now, so Jessi can't tell you a lot of like what's going on with like current politics.
Yeah.
But you're up to what, 1996 on Art Bell right now, so you know exactly.
I'm in 97.
97.
97. But I'm about to get into 98.
You always get those C. Crane radio ads, right? Yeah. C. Crane, like, you know, talking like that this AM FM radio is like the cutting edge of technology right now with the hand crank.
Yeah.
You can even pop a cassette in and record your favorite radio product. You can record a timer. You can record Art Bell at night back in the day.
You got to crank it first.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, a lot of people are saying they have premium. That's weird. A lot of people are just going premium. I didn't think that YouTube Premium was that big of a deal, but I guess so.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, that makes me feel better, because I was like, oh God, is everybody going to be just inundated with ads? So.
All right. So we got some cool stuff up here. Let me try to catch down here at the bottom of this, and then we'll. Oh. All right. So we got some cool stuff here. Paul M., I had seen something on this that Ring the doorbell cams offering $1 million prize to anyone who gets Ring camera footage of an alien.
Okay.
So I've seen that. I don't know that much about it, but it's
going to be just the signs scene, like over and over.
That sign scene was terrifying when that first came out. Like when I first saw Signs, and I still think Signs is an awesome movie. I don't care what anybody says. Signs is a good movie. And it, but yeah, they've got a thing out so if you have like Ring footage, I would just like to see the submissions that they deem are fake. If they do like a greatest hits, the stuff that people send in that's fake at this point. And Spooktator Bob had an interesting comment. I think Jessi and Joe both know everything. Mention a topic, not only have they heard of it, but they've researched it and begin explaining all about it. When we were on Calling All Beings podcast, and they've had some heavy hitters on there, man. They've had Gary Nolan, lots of people. They were like, you guys are the most well-rounded. And I'm going, it's because we are always afraid of sounding like idiots on shows. So we're just constantly just like forcing ourselves to do a bunch of research so we can at least be conversant with like whatever topics on there. But
right now, right now I'm learning about cold fusion and the Pons Fleischmann experiments and everything like that. So I'm just getting into cold fusion right now. So give me some time and we'll get into that.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. All right.
You got some more?
I got some more.
You just BS.
I was just BSing there. So Stingray had said to put up that tower thing at a rest stop and live stream, and that might actually be it.
We're gonna get stabbed by a hobo.
Yeah, that's the only thing is that we're gonna be in the like at a table while dudes are cruising around there. And it may not be safe for me. I don't know. It may not just be safe with the cruisers, all the people cruising.
I don't think people do that anymore.
Cruising, yeah, they do. Sacred Grove Bros, you guys had a great chat with Juan Ayala and Appalachian Intelligence. Has it been enjoyable choosing the platforms and the creators which you share? We have not heard the Juan Ayala.
No, we
thing.
haven't listened to it yet.
Well, he has it on members only. That's why.
Oh,
so you have to be a
okay.
member. I'm assuming you're a member on the one-on-one podcast, but we did that. And it's weird because like one-on-one doesn't really do a lot of cryptid stuff or UFO stuff. He's into some like really esoteric like alchemy and just really like the dark. He dabbles in the dark arts basically.
Dabbles in the dark arts.
But we were able to go on and have like a really good conversation with him. I don't think he quite knew what he was getting into with us. Brian from Black Mass Paranormal had hooked us all up and recommended we went on there, and it ended up being a really good conversation. I hope it comes across really good.
Yeah.
Has it been enjoyable choosing the platforms and creators which you share? I mean, I'm assuming you mean the ones that we go on to. We don't do a lot of them.
And we've decided not to do much more.
We're not going to do
this.
much more.
Yeah.
We've had some bad experiences on some shows. We have some shows that we wish we could go back in time and not be on. And that's just the sad truth of it all. And if those of you who've watched our appearances, you probably know the ones that have gone resoundingly well and the ones that have maybe not been that good.
Yeah.
So we are very, we had a great time on Calling All Being. We've had a good time on most of them, but there's been a few that, hate to say it, but usually it's people that we can have a conversation with and not people that are just going to go that, so who are you and what do you do? And they're not giving us an opportunity to introduce ourselves. They legit have no idea what we do. And it's just, they needed a guest that week. And
I had a few of those incidences. So we've decided we're really not going to do too many of those anymore.
Yeah.
It's the good thing about like the Juan Ayala show is that's a whole different audience, because I think his audience is more geared towards the esoteric, the conspiracy side of things. So that's a whole new audience. And so it's kind of cool to talk to somebody who's not already somebody who has preconceived notions about cryptids or anything like that, and who comes at something from a completely different perspective.
We just want to talk to people that
was
put
really
thought into
cool.
it, people that put thought into it and think about it, and they're not just doing it because, oh, I got a YouTube show and I got to do it this week. We want people that are excited about it and have like a fresh perspective, and that we can just kind of get in and just have a good, good conversation with. So, and
I'm trying to catch up on the chat. You guys are too fast. Too fast for me, too fast for love. All right, I'm gonna go on here because I got some
stuff.
I started some.
What are we dressing up as for Halloween?
Paranormal and cryptid field researchers,
because we're gonna be doing something on Halloween.
We're doing something on Halloween.
So
we are not going to spill the beans about what we're gonna do or where we're gonna be. But we are going to do something very special for Halloween. Halloween is on a Tuesday this year, so I'm assuming a lot of you won't be at Halloween parties or anything. You'll be doing that the weekend before. So make sure that you're around on Halloween if you guys want to see some... What?
No, nothing. I had computer malfunction. Anyway,
oh,
user error. It's fine. Nothing bad.
Make sure you're around on Halloween because we've got something very, very special planned for you guys. So... Paul Puglia says, Jessi and Joe, do you carve pumpkins? If so, can you show us what you created? We have not carved a pumpkin this year. Usually we're too busy to do a lot of stuff. We did decorate a little bit, but we're going to do like what we did a couple years ago. And we're just going to get a big pumpkin and just have a giant pumpkin with us wherever we are on Halloween.
Although Eddie Petch had a good thing. Ken and Barbie, we could have done like the dark version of Ken and Barbie this year. Well, maybe we'll do that next year. Yeah. Every chode on the face of the planet.
I've got a fur coat that you can wear. See, Mojo Dojo Casa
like
House.
2 feet of arms sticking out of those. Like
I told Joe that since I'm blonde now, I'm entering my bimbo era. So yes.
Hey, Ghetto Yeti's in there. Thanks for all the prayers and white light. My grandmother She passed peacefully in her sleep yesterday.
Oh, that's.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear
I'm
that.
sorry to hear that, but
Everybody
I'm glad it was
there were
peaceful.
such genuine and heartfelt prayers going out. I hope you and your family are fine. Eddie, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
So sorry to hear that. So,
but she went peacefully. That's all you can ask for, honestly. When stuff, when it's like that. On a lighter note, Stingray says your hair looks like a
I saw
Dairy
that.
Queen self-serve.
Busting on my hair, eh, Stingray? That's fine. I can make some fun out of you. We'll do that later.
At least you still have your
Let's
hair.
do a whole show devoted to just busting on Stingray. So, and make it like a 4-hour special. Okay. All right.
I gotta cut your hair.
Yeah, my hair's a little
Joe will have a fresh haircut for the conference.
a fresh haircut. So anyway, Ivan Ramirez had asked, have you guys heard of La Llorona, Weeping Lady? It's in Spanish culture. I'm familiar with it, and I'm not that read in on Central and South American folklore as I am on like European folklore, just because that's a focus of mine. One of the things that as I learn more about Spanish folklore like that, it's the parallels between like the European folklore that I'm familiar with, just the constant parallels that you see in folklore, the structural similarities with like just different cultures and all that is just always very striking to me. So, but I don't know about as much about it as I should probably. So,
Make sure you hit that like button since we're going into silence. I'm trying to catch up on the chat still.
People saying you got Mad Elvira vibes. So,
I think I look like Lily Munster with my hair like this.
Yeah, well, Munster's hot. So,
I'm trying to keep up.
Hey man, the chat's going good tonight. I had a few things.
We're gonna have to. We're gonna
I had
have
a few
to
things done.
We're gonna have to hire somebody to help us.
What the flock says, I have a question. Do y'all know of any legit Dogman vocalizations, and are they more human-esque or animal? We were reviewing some of our stuff for the presentation that Jessi's going to do at the Tennessee Wildman conference, and we had those weird vocalizations that we captured in North Georgia around that tree. And I still don't know what they are. They don't. Again, we didn't see what made them. We caught that weird eye shine off to the side that we didn't notice at the time, but we saw it when we were reviewing footage. And I don't know, man. I don't know. We've never found like Bigfoot tracks up there. We found small prints. We found weird canine prints up there, but we've never found Bigfoot prints. And to me, that didn't scream like Bigfoot. I never know what those growls were. Those weird growling vocalizations. It's been a while since we've revisited them too. So it was nice to kind of listen to them with a fresh ear. Could that have been like canine-esque? I don't know. There have been some interesting things caught in the LBL that you don't know what it is, but that's the problem is that it's people catch like fleeting like images and then they catch like audio, but having the two jammed together where you can go, that's what made this noise is I don't know of any. I've heard some interesting calls and howls and all that, but I don't know if it's Dogman or not. That's what's kind of interesting. I don't know if we've ever told them this, but last time we were at the LBL, we went to Martin's area where Martin had his experience in 1993. We did hear some extremely, and the camera caught that, didn't it? 2 days in a row. Yeah, 2 days in a row, we caught some weird howls down there. It was right at dusk. Good point. That is a good point. And that wasn't coyote. It was right at dusk, and the sun was going down. The sky was just ablaze. It was beautiful. And we're walking into the area. We're like geared up, real nervous about going in here because that was the first night. We were just like nervous about going up there. We're both talking about how nervous we are about going into because it's a dark, dark patch of woods and it's real tricky back there. You guys will see it eventually. We will release some videos on it eventually. But it's real tricky back there. There's a lot of places to hide. Anything can be around the next corner. And it's a dark, dark area back there. So the sky's ablaze, the sun's setting, and we're walking in there. And all of a sudden, just out from that direction that we're headed into, we hear just like this blood-curdling howl, And it didn't sound like a coyote at all.
It sounded like it was very wolf-like, and we just stopped dead in our tracks.
Yeah.
And we're like, "Are you serious right now? Like, are you serious?"
And we never released that footage out because it's Martin Grove's attack spot. But we talked to him. He's fine with us releasing it. We're just going to edit out anything that would be
identifiable.
Identifiable. Now, real quick, this was on here. Have you ever had your name called from the darkness? On that audio, we're not there. We left a drop recorder and we came back, and then we heard the growls and then that weird like clicking like vocalization.
So the video is called Screaming Lights and Supernatural Predators. If you guys haven't seen that yet, but that's the one where we capture that audio around that tree that we refer to as the giving, like the offering tree.
Yeah. So it sounds like at one point something leans into the recorder and goes, "Joe and Jessi." And I heard it and it instantly jumped out at me. And then Jessi's like, "I don't think so. I think you're hearing what you want to hear." And then when we turned it up, you agreed with me that it does sound like Joe and Jessi. Now, I'm not saying that that's what it is, but damn if it doesn't sound like it. So. And
then like a few of you guys actually heard that and you were like, "I absolutely hear it." Like I was very skeptical about that. So I was like, "There's no freaking way."
Marcus says, "I need a dark hair to complement your rad new look." Just like a little streak off to the side there, just like a racing stripe. So I might do it. So thank you, Marcus. So I appreciate that. I don't know if I appreciate it enough, but dyeing my hair, but you never know. You never know. So
you would look like a gay gothic nightclub owner.
You know?
A boy can dream.
A boy can dream. So Arcane Discoveries. Hey, how are you? What have I missed? I missed last week's live episodes. We're out doing some investigating and camping. Got some good results in the same areas I put y'all sticker at.
Oh, neat. Very
awesome.
Cool.
Let us know when you release that video, man.
Absolutely.
We'll share it. We'll share the link on here. Marcus Rodriguez, again, do you mind if I send you a video of a laughing beast sound recorded on a reservation? Please do.
Please do.
Because we are fascinated with the laughing beast and that hyena sound and everything like that. So please do, my friend. Please, please, please do. You can send it to us on email, or you can send it to me we're friends on Facebook, whatever would be easier for you to do at that point. So, all right. Man, we're flying along, man.
I've been starring some. It's about the LBL. We'll get into those if you'd like to, sir.
Sugi. I heard two howls. One answered the other, and it sounded exactly like the one from American Werewolf in London, which is weird because I always thought those sound effects sucked. They were very loud and long. So
you hear it and you're like, well, this is embarrassing.
Yeah. So, hey, man, that happens to me all the time. I'll be very publicly, I'm not so much anymore because I've kind of learned my lesson, but I used to be very vocally critical about stuff.
We used to laugh about Dogman in general. And then we
use Dogman as an example, very vocally critical and making fun of it, and then have to eat crow when we had our own experiences. Mm-hmm. So I feel you. So,
draw. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna get into some.
I'm gonna get into this right here. I got one. JFA. I've always heard the LBL is a dangerous place. Is it possible for people to live off the grid in the more remote areas of the LBL? City Slicker asking. Never been out of the city. It is a dangerous place, and even if you wipe out any potential cryptid activity, it's still a danger. It's a sketchy.
Yeah,
it's sketchy there. It's sketchy in certain areas, more so other times of the year.
Yeah, and there was, there was that huge series of tornadoes that really just rocked Kentucky. A lot of people lost their homes. A lot of people lost everything. And we think a few people had to end up going into the LBL and basically taking what they had left and living in a tent in the LBL in remote areas of the LBL. And that's where we think these tents that were just left abandoned. One was slashed open in the back and it was ripped open in the front. And then that second abandoned tent we found that had the same kind of MO. We think that's why those were there. We think that's why those people were there. We don't think these were hunters. We don't think that these were people that were, just camping and on a leisurely camping trip in the LBL. We think that those tents were occupied by people who were either on the edge of society, on the fringe of society, and they went out and they had nowhere else to go, or it's somebody who lost everything during those tornadoes that came through Kentucky and they were forced to go and live in the LBL in those tents. That's where we think all of that came from. So there are very remote areas that it would be, if you have the skill and the capability to do so, nobody would know you're there.
And the rumors we were hearing when we were down there is that some of the people that had been displaced and were in there living were going missing. And some people were thinking that it was like cryptid related, and other people were thinking, no, there's somebody down here, I don't know, like abducting people, making them disappear, but it was like it had a human, cause to it. So it's very possible that that happens every once in a while. Stingray, so when you went to Martin's place, that wall he said was there, that cliff, yeah, it's exactly like he describes. And when you go back, now it's changed a bit over the years, because this was
93,
so it's changed a lot. Certain things have changed. We can't go into what's changed because that would help identify it. But yeah, it's exactly, and trust me, we were down there, and we went down there knowing that there's a reason why we talk about like Martin all the time. It's because, not because he's a friend of ours, which he is, but it's because his story had a huge impact on us for a lot of reasons. And we don't really do interviews, but some of the people that we find like really fascinating in this field, like Martin Groves, Barton Nunley, we need to do like a Dooster episode and let Dooster just go like crazy.
Dooster go wild.
Just let Dooster Gone Wild will be the name of the episode.
Wild.
So, and that's how we became friends with him, is just talking to him about his encounter. But when we went to that spot by ourselves, we were very apprehensive.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of emotional energy there, just because with the encounter factor is so big in what we do. So we knew that going in, and we still had crazy stuff. We were going, all right, let's not get too carried away here. And it's impossible to not get too carried away there.
You've got that high level of anticipation.
And then you start hearing all this stuff as the sun goes down. And if they're coyotes unlike anywhere else in this part of the country. It's crazy.
Yeah, and we've actually got to do some more exploring around that area than we did previously. I mean, of course, every time we go there, we find new stuff and new areas and new like clues.
Yeah.
Every time we go to the LBL, we find new clues that kind of help us get a little bit of a clearer picture of what's going on over the years and what is going on currently. Like I always say, we'll never have the whole picture, but we find these little clues. For Martin's area, we found some clues that that area might have historically had some weird stuff happening long before Martin even had his encounter. We found evidence that there was possibly some sort of battle there. There are man-made, would you call it man-made, like fortifications?
And let's not go too much deeper into that. That would help somebody who is trying to find it, because that's not our area to share.
Yeah.
But yes, you're exactly right. Terry McCullough had a good one. I don't have it started. I just came across it. I wonder how much Bigfoot and Dogman activity could be feral humans. I think there's crossover with all sorts of that. I think that a lot of Dogman encounters went underreported because it wasn't in the public wasn't very aware of it. So people would report tall, hairy, scary things in the woods, and people would just chalk it up to like a Bigfoot. I think now that Dogman's become more and more like known, the phenomenon's more recognized, that might be like a flip-flop now. There might be Sasquatch reportings that are being, chalked up as Dogman sightings. You throw in like feral humans, and again, I still say this, that was a TikTok craze, and that got popular and all that. That happens. It's
well, there's different categories of what you would consider a feral human. There are people who are in these really isolated areas who've really never been outside of these isolated areas, and there's maybe like an enclave of people. There's the hermit who has abandoned society, and he's just he's living in he's abandoned society. He's by himself. He's solitary. Then you've also got these people who maybe got strung out on drugs, who ended up going out into the woods, losing their mind, and reverting a bit. We were talking a few weeks ago about that island in Florida where all of these, like Meth Island is what it's called, where all of these like drug addicts and homeless people have set up like a village on this island.
Took the damn island over.
But when people do that, and we had a crazy neighbor who we had a crazy neighbor like where we used to live, and he just started to devolve. He got his home taken.
He lived in the woods. He lived in the woods.
Lived in the woods.
Literally started to like devolve.
He started to devolve. Like they don't live like civilized human beings anymore. They just start to devolve, and that survival, I guess, instinct kicks in. But you just get down to where you're no longer taking care of like things that normal people take care of. It's like the basic things are basically all they can do, you know? So I think that there's people who were normal at some point in time, and now they've devolved into this feral state.
Yeah. So it's that happens. It may seem comical if you like live a very urban existence, but especially if you live in the Appalachians, you realize that is not a very, it's not a stretch. You're not reaching to think that something like that is possible. So,
do you have one? Because I got one.
Yeah, go ahead and lay it on there. So,
what the flock says.
I'm just saying that, man. I just not having them on.
You can say it today.
What the flock
what
says.
The flock says. I would pay to see a serious debate between Meldrum and Moorhead. Is Sasquatch an ape? We actually had the pleasure of seeing Ron Moorhead and David Paulides shellac.
Like a whole panel of like 10 other people.
Of people who were apers. You know, these were people who were like, Bigfoot is just a relic hominid or an ape in the woods. And they're like really dedicated to that. And then you just see David Paulides and Ron Moorhead up there, you know, just very calmly just being like, I think that this is very ignorant of you. And
when she says apers, I don't care if somebody thinks that it's an undiscovered ape. I've changed, my opinion has changed, but if somebody wants to approach the topic like that, knock yourself out. We're talking about the people that are just very condescending,
and just total a-holes.
You're damaging the credibility of the field with your crazy thoughts. I'm just going, dude, take a look in the mirror. We don't need to damage your credibility. You're doing a damn good job of it all on your own. Okay. You're the reason why nobody takes you seriously, not because of us. So anyway, yeah, I would love to. People are saying your imitation. I love how David Paulides is always like an upper crust British guy. Like, you know, well, actually, rumphing.
I'm meeting David Paulides. Actually, I was doing Ron Moorhead, but
is that it? So
because he's got that, you know, well, I don't think we need to be scared of them. I think they need to be scared. We need to be scared. Wait, what did I say? I've lost it.
He always go when people...
Wait, no, I don't think they need to be scared of us. I think we need to be scared of them.
Yes.
You know.
Marcus Race, thank you for that.
Lost it.
You lost it. I'm in North Dakota. If there's another feral human other than me, please let me know. I'm not privy to the competition. It's easy just because even in the areas that are getting population booms, a lot of these like deeper areas of the mountains they're pretty damn rough to get into. You know what I'm saying? And there's really no reason to go into them. I guess eventually the population will spread into them, and that'll be interesting to see what these people run across. But North Dakota, I don't know if there's any. I'm not that familiar with the Dakotas as far as like the local folklore.
Not quite a Dakota man.
Not quite a Dakota man, but
yeah, where I grew up in North Carolina, I grew up in Haywood County, North Carolina. There was an area that was near where I grew up, really close to where I grew up, called Crusoe. And it would go up in the mountains. And you had just basically, you know, you had mountain people up there. But off some of those roads, you had some pretty sketchy individuals that you would probably consider to be like pretty dang close to feral people.
Yeah. They might be wearing like pants, but like barely, you know, so.
There's a rope for a belt.
Yeah, so.
But I mean, a friend of my brother's best friend growing up, his family had a baboon as a pet.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that story.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
but they lived up in the mountains, and they
had a baboon.
They didn't have power or water, but they had a baboon.
When we first went up there, those are the people that live on that island, right? Where the river splits and goes around it, and they've got that weird homemade bridge.
Yeah.
They're on this like compound cobbled together out of like junk, and there's like a junk bridge that goes down because the river goes and splits and makes this little island, and they live on the island. And they just go, oh, those are those people that have that baboon. And I'm going, is this some sort of like weird local slang that I'm unfamiliar with? Or do you mean like a legit baboon? They're like, oh, they've got a baboon. Nobody knows where they got it from, but they've got a baboon.
They didn't have power.
Late night baboon deal.
They didn't have power. They didn't have water, but they had a baboon. So
What the Flock's got a good one. I know it's a What the Flock heavy show right now, but can you show me any examples of apes that can mimic human language? I read a really fascinating article a couple of weeks ago. And I just perused it. But remember Coco, the signing gorilla that would use the sign language.
Oh yeah.
All that was fake. It was all fake.
No!
Yeah, it was all fake.
No, wasn't she friends with Michael Jackson?
Yeah, they just
No.
what they were doing. There was a lot of wishful thinking going on with that, and that so much so that now notice how there's none of those experiments being taking place right now. You don't hear about these signing gorillas anymore.
Yeah.
It's because pretty much everybody just realized that
The 80s were a lie.
It was yeah, it was, but it's either it was done for funding or it was just because everybody wanted it to be so. They wanted it to be true, man. They just wanted it to be true, and everybody wanted it to be true so bad, but that the majority of it was just there was some very liberal interpretation going on with what was going on with that. So that's all I got to say about that.
Red Wolf says, I watched the new Dogman Small Town Monsters documentary, and the history of the place they were investigating seemed very similar to the LBL, with people being forced out and the like. We go over this sometimes, that these areas that attract this kind of activity, we don't know if it's the areas attracting the activity, what the people are doing, or what happens to the people attracts the activity, or if everything is just drawn to that area. The first time we went to the LBL, we went to one of the nature center actually, and one of the chicks in the nature center asked us about our hats. We had our logo on our hats, and we were talking about it. We don't really tell them that we do paranormal investigations or anything like that. We just say we have a hiking channel. And they were talking about how the bitterness has soaked into the land, and she talked about all these weird experiences she had, and how her and her boyfriend were stalked by something, and there was this haunted campsite and everything. But that phrase, the bitterness has soaked into the land, kind of stuck with us.
Yeah.
That whatever happens in these areas definitely affects, that energy definitely affects what occurs there going forward, and what kind of doors are opened. I don't know how, but it just seems like it does.
Check on Off the Cufflinks package, by the way. To
Did?
Australia.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, check on that. So
yes.
just to jump real quick, it popped in, and then all right. So I did have to highlight the thing about, David Pilates watched a lot of Magnum PI, and as soon as somebody said that, I just went, oh hell, good God, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Way of the Sploot. What the hell? What the hell? Anyway, do you think Dogman is an opportunistic hunter? For example, hunting people after natural disasters. I think that, I can't say all, but I think a good chunk of this stuff are opportunistic predators. I think that...
I mean, isn't anything?
Huh?
Isn't anything an opportunistic predator that's a predator?
Well, no, not necessarily. There's a lot of debate that these things aren't predators. I mean, if you get on YouTube or Reddit long enough, you're going to hear that they're protectors of nature and Gaia's, they're protector of Gaia and everything like that. And they're not, I've had one on my property for years. I raised him from a pup. But I think that these things are, let's just break it down for a second. Let's just, even for the people that are on the fence, let's assume that Sasquatch, Dogman, it's all real. It's all real, okay? There has to be a level of intelligence there, right? These are not just animals ruled by instinct. We would have caught them by now. Okay, you can use an animal's instincts against it. That's how you trap. That's how you hunt. So there has to be a level of intelligence there. And if there's a level of intelligence there, why does it behave the way it behaves? Okay, well, they're terrified of mankind. Okay, then, so they have no reason to like us. And they're large creatures that need a lot of calories. If you're just, again, saying that they're just regular, intelligent animals, they have no reason to like us. Why would we not be on the menu? A lot of these encounters, yeah, they're not violent, but a lot of them are. A lot of them are terrifying. And I don't think we hear about the most violent ones because there's nobody left to tell the tale. I think that's why Martin's story is important. You're getting with Martin Groves' story, and then what happened to Barton Unley's family. You're hearing the side that usually doesn't make it to tell its side. Does that make sense?
The few survivors.
Yeah, you're hearing from some of the few survivors of this stuff. And I think that when it gets to that point, people aren't around to give their encounter of what happened with stuff like that. I kind of staggered over that a little bit, sorry. But I do. I think that they're opportunistic predators. I think that they... that's part of the reason why we try to Sugi says it's buffering bad. Let me know if anybody else is having buffering issues, if it's on our end or not. YouTube sucks. Anyway. I just think that
we're in the sin bin, number one.
Yeah,
so we're not getting any bandwidth. So yeah, our channel's been reported a lot, so we're in the sin bin.
So I think that they're opportunistic predators. I think they are. I think that might tie in a lot with some of the missing people that are out there. And I just think that people go, oh, well, so few reported encounters are violent. It's because nobody's left to report the violent ones. There's only very few that get out that actually are able to do that, Chet. People wanted a knife check. Somebody else had asked for a knife check yet. Yes, let's do a knife check, shall we? I am carrying the knife that my buddy Denim Devil gave me. And that is a CRKT Hisatsu. It's a very nice little self-defense dagger. Not really good for utility. It's got a very sharp point to it. It's got a really good handle to blade ratio. It's got an awesome assisted open. Always get it in front of the camera. Very quick assisted open. So
like that snap.
Like that snap.
It's a good snap.
Like that snap.
A good snap. I am carrying a Microtech today, but it's not a knife. It is I guess you would call this a punch tool.
It's something. It's like it's a tactical Capri Sun straw. Basically,
is that what it is?
That's what I always think of it as. It's made to turn somebody into a Capri Sun pouch, as opposed to.
So it's definitely a great tool for a vampire. Not that I am one, not a vampire at all, but you could just plug that right in and it's good to go. But yeah, it's a good little punching tool. It's got some air holes right there, or whatever.
To make sure that you drain holes. So
that's what I've got. That's a Microtech. That's just a cool little Microtech piece right there. And it has a sheath for it.
All right. Sacred Grow Bros is talking about how during Beltane or May Day, they had the Peruvian face peelers and the Las Vegas tall whites. Wonder what'll happen on Halloween. Well, maybe something will happen and we'll be able to share it with you. Josh Turner's in there. What's up, Josh? What's going on, buddy?
So last year for Halloween, we did a live investigation of that property that we've had a lot of weird stuff at.
Yep.
It was kind of I guess we could call it a haunting. But it was a burned out house in the middle of the woods. We did our live investigation there. We had Katie with us for that investigation. We did a couple of Estes sessions out there. Because it's Halloween, we kind of want to do some more spooky stuff with that. But that was a really fun, interesting, kind of wild time.
Not as remote as we normally get. We would even tell you that there would be there was a road a couple of miles away.
Yeah, there was a highway nearby.
Not nowhere near as remote as what we normally do. But we were upfront about that. We didn't try to sell it as something that it's not. So.
But that was a really cool live stream. We got a lot of really cool stuff on there. And then of course I did that Estes session where I was kind of losing it, rocking back and forth and kind of crazy. But this year we are, Jesus. You really know how to interrupt anything I do, don't you? Thanks, Stingray. Opportunistic.
When we wonder why our channel's throttled, even when crazy stuff's not going on.
Throttle you. This year, we are going to top last year. And we always up the ante. You know that we do. So this year...
We're anti-uppers is what we are.
We are anti-uppers.
Anti-uppers.
We are definitely going to blow last year out of the water. We have a really, really cool plan, and you guys are going to be so stoked about it. But yeah, we're not going to be able to share any details until the day of, right? So yeah.
Valley Parks has got I think you're talking to us. Do you ever call them forest people?
No,
I don't, because I don't think they're people.
Yeah, I don't think they're related to people in any way.
And I don't think that they are. And I don't have a warm fuzzy feeling about. I don't have a warm fuzzy feeling about any of this stuff. And I'm going to stick by that. And I understand other people have had other experiences, and that's cool. And I ain't challenging it, but I'm just telling you that I don't have a warm fuzzy about any of this stuff. I think that at best it's indifferent, and at worst it's pretty freaking hostile. That's just
Joe doesn't even believe in ghosts. He believes in ghosts. Yeah, he doesn't believe that it's the spirit of a dead person.
I don't believe that you're interacting with the spirit of a dead person when you interact with that. You're dealing with some sort of intelligence. And it's not human, and I don't fully know what it is. I've got my theories, but I don't think that the residual energy of a person haunts an area like that. I just don't.
Yeah.
I think that it's something pretending to be that. So there you go.
Perfect feed. Everybody's saying
A
everything's
perfect
fine.
feed. There we
perfect
go.
feed.
A perfect feed.
All
right. Well,
clear.
we did a knife check, so I can kill that. Marcus Ruiz, man. Again, Marcus Ruiz carrying the show for us here. Guys, I left Bigfoot Central in the Pacific Northwest for certain freedoms and in North Dakota. Dogman feeds off humankind's fear and relishes such narcissistic tendencies and energies. You do hear that about Dogman. You do hear that about Dogman, that a lot of them, there's no overt violence, but people just get that feeling. It's not as structured as mind speak with Sasquatch is. It's more of, I had the impression that it was telling me I can take you whenever. Linda Godfrey used to talk about that in depth and do such a wonderful job of it. I can take you whenever I want to.
I can kill you at any moment.
I'm thinking about killing you. I might save you for later. Stuff like that. So, but it's it doesn't quite have the structured conversational type stuff that a lot of like. Sorry, I get sidetracked by the chat, man. The chat's just so damn interesting.
Stingray says, it's a gouge, Jessi. It's a gouge. My knife.
Oh.
It's not really a knife. It's a gouge. Pig Boy says it's a gouge. So there you go.
Pig Boy's got a lot of comments tonight. You know what I'm saying? So talking about my hair, talking about your knife.
A lot of comments.
And here's the deal. Simon, waiting to see any decent footage of a Dogman. We got that thermal image. I can't say it's a Dogman, but I can tell you it looks like what's been reported in the LBL, and I can leave it at that. We didn't see it with the naked eye. The things we saw in the LBL with the naked eye that were very fast and fleeting did not look canine to me. Didn't look canine to you.
We also got a thermal image of something that was
very cold.
Very cold.
Human, like a outline of something that was not there to the naked eye because I lit up that area and it wasn't there.
But it was humanoid.
But it didn't have the ears of the thermal image. But you're right. There's no real. I was thinking about this the other day. We'll segue on this a little bit.
Segue.
There's not as much physical evidence for the Dogman phenomenon as there is for Sasquatch. Now, part of that might tie into the fact that it's a more violent phenomenon than Sasquatch is. So a lot of people ain't coming back. They ain't living long enough to tell the tale.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this too. I think that that you don't find print evidence of Dogman as often as you do of Sasquatch is because other than abnormally large regular canines like wolves or really large dog breeds, there's not a large North American mammal whose footsteps resemble, let's just be honest, a lot of Bigfoot footprints that you see online are bear double steps. You know what I'm saying? They're just actual bears stepping into their own prints and they create that. There's no equivalent for that for Dogman, other than, again, those really large like canine dog breeds. But I just think that there's not a lot of good footage of that. And it might just be the fact that the people that got the good footage, they didn't come back to share that footage with you. I don't know. So anyway.
I've got one here. Mr. Dooster of Cryptids and Critters Paranormal says that for those of you who have my books, bring them to the Tennessee Wildman Conference this weekend and I'll sign them for you. So take note, if you have a Dooster book, he will be there. I'm sure, Dewey, you'll have copies of your books as well that you can sell people while you're out there. So if you do come out, the Dooster will be in attendance and will be joining us.
Vampire Sphere Jessi. Hey, man, Blade, you ain't got to. We're already huge Blade fans, like Blade the movie fans. And then we've got this one. Drain Hole, once again, it's the ex-wives.
It's always the ex-wives.
Jesus God.
What the vlog says. Oh, shoot, I lost
Here, hold on. Nice implement. Who's the manufacturer? Yours is Microtech.
Microtech.
Yeah,
Yep.
Microtech makes that. They make mostly
out the front
automatics, but they make some really neat, just kind of like
weird little one-off, like
impractical stuff.
It's the bougie weird stuff that I like. What the Flock says, you're gonna have a hard time one-upping last Halloween, by the way.
With what we got planned, it's gonna up it.
Oh,
it's gonna
have we ever backed down from a challenge? What the
Flock? Gonna up it.
I don't think we have.
Up it if the stars align. It's gonna up it. So there we go.
Is the stream okay? Because it's frozen here.
You guys still streaming all right?
Go to the end.
Oh,
I'm telling you, they're
messing.
Finger on the scale.
Finger on the scale.
Fingers on the scale.
Susan's talking about she's wearing her Paranormal Roundtable hoodie. Wish they had a Hellbent Holler hoodie too to rock. We might eventually do pre-orders on stuff. It's a time thing. This is a good segue on something that, and ghetto getting. Alpha predators are opportunistic in their hunting practices. Even great white sharks usually don't attack people because we aren't good eating, but will definitely devour anyone they want when they want. A lot of them are ambush predators, and that always ties in with my thing about tigers and infrasound. They use their roar to stun their prey with infrasound. Tigers are ambush predators. They don't really roar before they attack prey. They just basically jump on it from behind in silence.
That's why you see those guys with masks on the back
of their heads. So they don't really, and I always keep meaning to bring that up whenever I'm on my infrasound rants, and I always forget it. But anyway.
Cheryl Singh says, Joe, have you had any experience with a ghost or spirit? I swear I've had experiences and will never forget.
I had experiences in a house when I was a kid, and I still don't know if that was real or just me being a weird kid. I don't know. I saw a specter, let's just leave it like that, of a woman at the LBL near a cemetery that's fairly well known, right at the stroke of the exact moment of the summer solstice. When we looked back at it, we realized it was at the summer solstice, and she vanished right in front of my eyes. I know that the phenomenon is real. I don't think it's dead people. I think it's something mimicking dead people or presenting itself as people, but I don't think it's the spirits of dead people. I just don't. That's where I stand at. But I know that the phenomenon is real. I know that the stuff is that people. I know that poltergeist activity is real. I know that things that people see is real, but I just don't think it's dead people. Oh, now Stingray's being nice. Look at this, trying to back in the good graces after that. Will your Halloween show air on Halloween night? Yes, it will air on Halloween night. We're going to do let's talk about that. We're going to do a Devil's Night, the 30th. Mm-hmm. That's a Monday, right?
Yeah.
We'll be where we're going to be, and we will do a live stream, signal permitting. We think we'll have enough signal there to do that. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do a live stream, and I think we should take people calling with ghost stories like we talked about. We had a few people send us ghost stories. Like the old ghost to ghost AM thing. So I think we're going to do that. So we'll do the regular live stream on Monday, and then we will do an investigation live stream for a few hours.
Can I do the ghost to ghost from a hot tub?
If you would like. So yes. That's all we'd need is like you in a bikini in a hot tub doing ghost to ghost.
I'll wear the werewolf mask.
Bikini and a werewolf mask?
Yeah.
There we go. All right.
My Halloween costume.
Yeah.
It's a ghost bikini.
With that.
It's my ghost bikini and a werewolf mask.
All right. So a lot of people.
Tune in, everybody. We got Halloween specials.
Well, so. All right.
Hellbent hot tub Halloween. No, we're not doing the Halloween's not going to be from the hot tub, but Devil's Night might be.
Marcus Aurelius. Damn it. Killing us here. All right. Dogman or Bigfoot photos will never be taken into consideration as proof of either existence. Go out and do the research, get a photo or video, and watch the denial into oblivion. We get stuff, we're fakers. We have not ever had, and fiction. We're fiction. I don't think I could replicate that portal, that UAP, that light that we saw if you gave me time and a budget.
How would we replicate those sounds that we recorded that we were talking about earlier?
I would not be able to replicate the thermal image of that thing with the pointy ears. I wouldn't be able to replicate. We can't, but again, at the same token, we don't have like an equivalent of the Patterson Gimlin film. You know what I'm saying? We don't have anything. And guess what? I feel
like we got something coming eventually.
But here's the deal.
We just keep hammering.
We've never had the things that we've seen have been very fleeting, very ephemeral. They just don't last that long. They're just glimpses. And that's mostly what we've experienced. We've never had
Class A direct on.
Yeah. I saw something when I was a kid, and then I saw something that we haven't really talked about too much in North Georgia a couple months ago. That I don't know what it was. And we didn't get it on camera, so we don't talk about it too much. But
that was Dark Corner.
Yeah, it was weird. The Dark Corner. Yeah. But we've never had from 10 feet away, clear view of like a Bigfoot or anything like that. And the thing is this, is that if we ever do and we get it on film, I fully expect people to say it's fake. And now that we're in the land of AI, they're just going to assume it was AI. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how people are. The people that want to believe are going to believe. The people that are on the fence, I don't, you know, something might sway them, something might not. But the people that are hardcore skeptics are going to stay skeptical. Nothing's going to change them. So nothing's going to change them.
Nut slap. Oh, never mind.
Good Lord. Go ahead. Just put it back up. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead. That's...
No, I thought I hid that. I'm sorry.
No. Nut slap. You see? You don't want to miss nut slaps 2 cents here, do you? Just a little nut tap on that one. Nut slap says Joe and Jessi. Ever been to the Smokies or Daniel Boone? I've never been to the Daniel Boone.
I've never been to the Daniel Boone either, to be honest with you. Smokies all the time.
Smokies have been. I grew up near the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. So I grew up near Pisgah National Forest and the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. So we've been there several times. We've investigated there a few times. So, but we want to go to the Daniel Boone eventually and check that out. We've heard some stuff about it, but we've not made our way up there yet. It's a bit of a haul for us to do an investigation for, but so we'd have to do some planning and logistics on that one.
This is a good one. Red Dirt Cryptid Investigations. Dogman research has to be at least 30 years behind Bigfoot research. I get what you're saying there, but that would mean that there's 30 years of something happening with Bigfoot research. And let's just be honest, there's not really anything nothing's moving the needle. It's just the same old stuff is not moving the needle anymore. If people want to cast prints for their own collections and all that, that's great. But a cast footprint is not going to convince anybody who hadn't already been convinced. Answering tree knocks, howls are pretty interesting sometimes. But I think it ain't as far back as you think, because I think Bigfoot research is so stagnant. I think that, and again, I'm just going to speak from my own point of view, is that I think that all of the points that a lot of skeptics bring up on why there's not an undiscovered ape in North America, they're pretty valid points. You know what I'm saying? They're pretty valid points. Considering this thing is seen in like pretty much every state, except for maybe Hawaii. It's seen with pretty regularly, you know. There's a lot of really good, plausible, believable accounts out there, and yet we don't really have that much physical evidence on it. And people will trot out, oh, well, there was hairs and it was this and this. Yeah, it's still not a lot, man. For as often as it's seen, it's there, and I believe these people, and I believe it's going on. I just believe that the reason why that the evidence is so lacking is because the nature of it does not lend itself to leaving a lot of physical evidence. So I think that maybe public knowledge of Dogman is quite a ways behind Bigfoot, but it's catching up constantly. But I will say this, that there's more people involved with what they call research with Bigfoot than Dogman. There's not a lot of people out actually physically looking for Dogman. No. But when you get right down to it, there ain't that many people out looking for Bigfoot beyond.
Plus, you've got the possibility that these earlier Bigfoot sightings could be a misidentified Dogman.
But as far as like doing research on it, I don't think there's a lot of people doing like. We don't even really do research. We investigate stuff.
Yeah.
But now there's some people we know that are extremely clinical and they're methodical and they're tracking sightings and building heat maps and everything like that. And even that I don't think is like research. You can't replicate any of this. It's hard to research it when you can't replicate what you're doing. You can't test for anything, you know. But I don't think there's as many people investigating as what as a lot of people think. Valley Parks, anyone else have night vision scopes, infrared? We have them. I don't know how many people have it, but
I think people have. There's Bigfoot researchers out there with that FLIR that we have, that low level FLIR.
It's useless. It's useless.
That thing is completely useless. We're actually going to sell it after this conference. It's not useless, but we've moved beyond that. So I think we're going to sell that low level FLIR after this conference. We're gonna let people.
It works good for close ups, but not in the woods. It doesn't work well. Marcus Aurelius, 499. I say this so often. Thank you. Will you evolve on spirit activity, Joe, like Dogman? Possibly. I believe the activity is real. I just don't think it's dead people. I know the activity is real. I know that poltergeist activity is real. The hitchhiker effect's damn sure, for
certain.
real.
Yeah.
And whether that's tied in with poltergeist activity or not, I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. I think that there's stuff happening. I think that hauntings are real. I just don't think that people are being haunted by the spirits of dead humans.
You think it's manipulating these people?
I think it's manipulative. I think that when you tells you that you're talking to dead little Timmy, who was 9 years old when he passed away in 1820, I don't think that's what you're talking to. I think you're talking to something that, and hold on, not today. Hey, Joe, ever consider the likelihood of the transposition of many worlds multiverse that ghosts are the residual energy of people who still exist in another reality?
Oh, God.
Possibly, but if they're existing in another reality, like if that energy is if that's gone through a membrane into another like reality, what's causing them to still interact with us? Is that a membrane that's like one way? We can't get to their reality, but they can get to ours. It's possible.
That sort of reminds me of the Ghost in the Machine kind of thing with that that happened in the UK.
I just think that my gut instinct is, and that might evolve. Marcus, it might evolve over time. I'm not ruling it out, but I'm going from where I'm at right now. I just don't think I think that when you pay attention to them, you're feeding them energy. I don't know if they're demonic or not, but I think it's a non-human intelligence. Every time I hear about non-human intelligences with UAPs, I just go, damn, that pretty much sums up almost like 90% of what people are dealing with out there.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm starting some stuff as we go.
Oh, y'all think of Spyderco? We've got some Spydercos. Almost bought a Ujumbo this past week.
But I actually have a Spyderco in my pocket.
But I'm on a knife buying embargo right now because we got equipment we got to get. So
yeah, I have a Spyderco.
And of course, that equipment's getting closer all the time with friggin' Marcus on the case. You know what I'm saying? We're driving up into damn Bigfoot researching like Ferraris, for God's sake.
Bigfoot research Ferraris.
Yeah, we're gonna, giant tires on there, 4-wheel drive. So
my tactical fur coat.
Anyway, did you pull out your Spyderco, or did I distract you with the thoughts of a Bigfoot research Ferrari?
Thinking about my tactical fur coat. Yeah, I actually, this is a day-to-day thing that I carry all the time. It's a Spyderco Matriarch 2, but I carry that bad boy a lot. It's a lot of use. So I do like Spydercos.
What the flock asks, so you're Christian? That's a very Christian stance. I don't think Christianity factors into it. I just don't. I've gotten to the point now where I don't take the status quo on anything in this, because so often our own personal experiences have run counter to the status quo. I don't take the status quo view on Bigfoot. I don't know what I take on Dogman. I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't believe that aliens or extraterrestrials on rocket ships coming here.
From another planet.
And I just don't. So let's explore this. Every human has a soul. A soul's been put there by a creator. Or a soul is just residual energy, whatever. It just logically, it doesn't make any sense to me that these are dead people that we're dealing with, okay? And if they are dead people, is there like, does that energy dissipate over time? Is that why we don't see like, where are the Neanderthal ghosts? Okay, where are the ghosts?
It's always like 1800s ghosts.
Yeah, it's always from like 1800s.
Victorian ghosts.
Yeah, it's always like that. Or Civil War, or, you know, things like that. But where are...
like market time.
Where are the ghosts of like hunter-gatherer tribes? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, where are the ghosts of stuff like that? I just... Instead, it
where
seems
are the
like...
Valley Girl ghosts?
It seems like the phenomenon is showing you what you expect, just like the UAP phenomenon, that's showing you what you expect. And it's showing you what you expect to encounter for some reason. Why is that? Why is there? I think that most of this stuff is duplicitous, and I think that the face that it shows you is not what it actually is. I think it's weird because we're getting ready to start Dark Dives back up again, like the topical shows and not the just free-flowing conversations like we have right here. One of the first things we're going to talk about is the trickster and the paranormal, and how somebody was talking to us about Bigfoot investigations the other day, and I was like, we're more John Keel than, you know, Jeff Meldrum, you know, and on everything with it. And I think that there is a trickster element to a lot of this stuff, that even if it's not trying to lure you into a bog at night, just the way it's interacting with you is duplicitous, and it's done in order to gauge a prescribed response from you. But let's not go down that rabbit hole right now because that's going to be
well, and the fact that it seems like it starts to enjoy toying with you. You know, it seems like that's happened to us on multiple occasions where it seems like it notices us noticing it.
So is poltergeist activity, is that a haunting? Because that doesn't sound like dead human activity, but but poltergeist activity does tie in with other types of paranormal activity. People are experiencing the hitchhiker effect right now. Parallels, Poltergeist Parallels and Contagion is a great book that talks about how the poltergeist phenomenon behaves like the hitchhiker phenomenon. It follows you. It infects other people. It comes to your house after you went to that house to experience it, and then somebody comes and visits your house, and it takes it home with them too.
That contagion.
It's an intelligent energy. I just don't think it's people, and it has nothing to do with religion. It's just me trying to look at the topic dispassionately and just trying to just look at it without any preconceived notions. And I don't see dead people. Okay. I'm taking the Sixth Sense flip on there. I don't see dead people.
You're doing a lot of M. Night Shyamalan references.
You know what? I am, man. I am. So does that mean 200 years from now, people will see ghosts? Don't leave the basement and play video games.
Yes.
So, here's another thing too. Appalachian Tales of Terror.
I banned the corn site.
What's that?
There was a corn site spamming our chat.
Corn site? What do you mean? Corn or porn? Porn site? Corn site?
God, you're so dense.
My stance
You're
on
not supposed to say the P word.
Oh,
You're
I'm
supposed
sorry.
to just say corn.
All right, my stance
Popcorn.
on we've made it though. If we're getting like spammers like that though, then we do that.
Is that a signal that we've done it?
We're in the big leagues now, baby. My stance on the paranormal comes from my years of research, so it's different from every person, what they believe or what they don't. It might express itself differently to other people. The observer effect might play into it. People often talk that with the UAP phenomenon and Skinwalker Ranch in general, the way people approach it tends to have an effect on what they experience. So that might be it as well. You know what I'm saying? We're weird people.
Yeah.
Maybe we're experiencing weird stuff because we're weird people and we approach it in a weird manner. Okay. Maybe that's why we're experiencing what we are. And people who go out there with plaster and little wooden bats are experiencing things that seem like apes because it's what we're anticipating.
That goes back to that Keel thing of what do you look like? It depends on who's looking.
Depends on who's looking.
Yeah.
What do you look like? It depends on who's looking at me. So, God, I'm doing a great job tonight. Good Lord,
Yeah, you get a
man.
lot of
I'm
compliments.
shocked at how well I'm doing tonight. I'm so glad that you guys were able to come here and witness this tonight and share in this with me. I'm really
You
happy.
guys are truly blessed. Just truly blessed to have someone like
Marcus
you.
talks about captured some stuff. I'm totally convinced and pleasantly shocked at such captures. And we really haven't captured. We've captured some stuff. We're going out with equipment that most other people aren't using, or if they are using it, they're not using it like we're using it. And we're going out alone. We're going out into some sketchy remote areas, and we're going out all the time. We didn't go out this past weekend because we got a sick cat. We had to go and try to nurse back to health before we leave town. So we had to stay here and we were on sick cat duty, and it was weird being home over the weekend. It was just weird.
Sick cat duty.
We got stuff done, I mean, it was crazy. It was just, but we're out all the time. And then if you factor in the amount of hours we're out and you factor in the amount of equipment we take out, we don't really have that much at all. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We ain't batting too great, but
everybody's like, Joe, no, because you're not supposed to say it.
the P word.
Yeah.
So, oh well.
So I said those darn Orville Redenbacher sites.
Thank you, Ray. Watched your last recorded live feed. It was mentioned that people felt a wave of nausea. Was that from an encounter or something else causing it?
So the live investigation that we did, it's what you're referring to, I'm assuming. We were in that area where we did our equinox investigation, and we were up on that hilltop doing that live investigation. That was a stationary investigation. I got sick. I was already kind of sick, but I got very sick when I sat next to the beacon. And a lot of people told me and reported to us that they also felt like a wave of nausea from that.
Oh, really?
And
So,
level of fear and uneasiness, and that really translated through. And that they I guess a lot of our empaths on board here kind of felt that as well. Joe and I had some pretty bad physical effects from that particular investigation.
Yeah.
We were both sick. I'm still battling something. But like we've had some pretty bad physical effects as a result of that particular follow-up investigation in the Equinox area.
Mhm.
So we think with the beacon, we think the beacon might be working.
So let's talk about the beacon real quick for those people that weren't here to watch it.
We're going to talk about the beacon.
We have taken. All right, here's what we're looking at. Okay. Is that we have been in these window areas, we call them, where we experience weird phenomenon. And we stole that line from John Keel. Okay, that ain't nothing we came up with. We stole that from John Keel.
But it's a variety of phenomenon, and it's repeated over and over.
So we have experienced weird electromagnetic fields there where there shouldn't be any.
We have witnessed orbs.
Yeah, well, I'm saying as far as what we're putting out.
Oh.
So we've experienced, documented strange electromagnetic energy there. Okay. We have documented strange things on the spectrum analyzers. Okay. Weird RF signals that everybody quickly jumped in and told us, hey, that's similar to what Skinwalker Ranch has experienced. We have picked up anomalous lights, to your point, that showed up on our infrared cameras, but didn't show up to the naked eye. So we think that they're putting out infrared light, not regular light. So we built a thing that emits very strong electromagnetic fields. It sends out RF signals at a certain frequency, and it emits really high levels of infrared light, these infrared strobes that we use. So basically, we are putting out the weird energy that we have detected in these areas.
But at higher levels.
Hoping that with what we're generating up, these are small units. We're not generating up like a ton of anything on any level.
Right.
The idea is that we're not trying to like open something. The idea is we're trying to attract something that's already there, that for some reason may have an association with these particular energies. So we're calling it a beacon. It's a beacon in the darkness. Maybe they'll see this, feel it, whatever, and they'll come up to it. It was just kind of a wild hair that we've been thinking about, and we had experimented with different elements of it in the past. And this time we decided just to kind of try it out.
And put it all together.
Both of us didn't feel well afterwards.
No.
And both of us walked away feeling kind of weird.
Something changed.
Something changed after we did.
There was a change.
There was a change, and it's hard to describe.
There's been, I guess you could refer to it as a shift. We've deployed this twice so far.
A shift in the way we're thinking about stuff.
A shift in how we see the world.
A shift, and it's weird. Yeah. And it's I think we've gotten something's attention. That may be good, that may be bad. And that's the other thing too, is that we've gotten a lot of people going, stop, you're messing with stuff. I'll be the first to admit, we're messing with stuff we don't understand. I don't think anybody understands it.
Definitely.
But at the same token, we're at that point now where we're tired of these little glimpses. We're tired of these little hints. We're tired of just these like quick little lights that we catch on camera, or we see something that moves too quick for us to get on camera. We get a thermal image and we don't know what it is. And it's time to up the ante, man. You know what I'm saying? And we might end up regretting it. But at the same token, it's to the point now where we constantly talk about people just do the same old thing. We've been in a rut where we've been doing the same old crap. Let's get some cameras. Let's walk around at night. Let's see if we can like kind of rile up. It's time to go to the next level, and it's time to push it a little bit more. It's time to push the envelope.
I am afraid sometimes that we're going to pull back the curtain and not be able to close it
again. I mean, again, it's
what we'll see, what will happen.
It's quit or it's
still a nerve-wracking
Our boy
process.
South Force 10 is on here. Do you find that some of the woods you go into now has an intelligence or a consciousness about it? Or do you think it's people who have an antenna that can feel this? I think it's a little column A and a little column B, but I think that area after we did that beacon, there sees to be a consciousness there. Do you agree with that? So
absolutely.
That's a perfectly timed comment. South Force, hope you're doing well. So, and the fact that you felt ill, and then the fact that other people felt ill when that came on, some of that might be psychosomatic. But we've tried some weird stuff in the past, and we've never had people reporting watching the video live made them feel ill.
That there was some sort of transference of something happened there, and they had some sort of empathy, like some sort of empathetic response.
Since we tried that, it's like something has shifted, and this sounds weird, and people are just going to go, "Oh, they're talking crazy." I don't care. Our thought process has gone in strange directions. It's like we're reinvigorated with a lot of this stuff for some reason.
We were about to quit.
We were about to quit. We were about to quit that night. We
Yeah.
were so frustrated with how hard it was to set it up. And then all the other crap that's going on with people trying to take our channel down, trying to take Josh Turner's channel down.
Yep.
All of this stuff. We were to the point where we were just going, why are we bothering anymore?
Yeah.
Let's keep up the investigations, but let's stop the channel. Let's stop the public facing stuff of it. It would be easier if we just focused on the investigations just for our own knowledge. We were ready to quit. We were like both, just that drive home was weird. It was like we were coming out of this funk, but then since then, I stand by that. I think we got something's attention, and I think we need to keep going with it.
Yeah.
And
I think we need to be more aware of when we're feeling this and when we're doing these experiments, like why are we feeling what we're feeling, and not to react too quickly to it or too extremely to it. Like I know that, you know, that when we did that live stationary investigation, and we were on our way home and we were ready to quit.
We were going through a weird, like emotional, I'm not an
was-
overly emotional person. Ask her.
No.
No, I'm not overly emotional.
But
And
it
was like that night. So yeah.
I mean, like I was in tears. It was very, very emotional, and we were just ready to just call it quits. But I think we need to be more aware of how this stuff could possibly. I think we get overly confident sometimes.
Well, here's the deal.
And
is that
maybe be more aware of how this stuff can affect us physically and mentally.
Well, Cryptid Castleberry asks, regard to pushing to the next level, are you closer to trying CE5? I don't think it's a good idea, but I think it might be getting necessary to try to advance this a little bit.
Yeah.
Not necessarily CE5 for UFOs, but let's try CE5 for
other things.
Other things that are on the ground.
Kind of adapt the theory behind CE5 and the protocols in a way. And
Miranda
adapt it to
Crew,
what we're
couldn't
doing.
watch your last live all the way, had a headache.
Yeah.
You don't know how many times we've heard that from people going, when you guys fired that thing up, I got sick. I started getting a headache. Arnaldo, for the taco. So thank you for that, Arnaldo. Everything was getting a little dense there for a minute. Thank you for that. And then also, hey, Martin's in the house.
Hey, Martin.
Martin's up. So, Simon, loving the mystery of the mysterious. That's 25 pounds. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's French. Stop it. That insults them.
Oh. Thank you so much.
And you're supposed to say cheerio.
Cheerio. Good chap. So,
Way of the Sploot. I just love that name. I love the Way of the Sploot.
And then the video loops, loops that we still,
not weird, is right there in the camera.
And I'm trying to tell her what I'm seeing, and I'm looking at it going, what the hell's going on here? Now, we don't usually do a lot of work on a cell phone like that. We do it when we stream because we have to, but most of the time we're using GoPros or night vision cameras or our Phasm cams. We don't usually do that. And I'm looking at it going, what in the hell? We tried to replicate that.
You can't
replicate it. I don't know what's causing that. That was bizarre.
I've never seen that happen on a live stream.
And I didn't know if it was streaming out. Or God, we're all fired up now. I didn't know if it was streaming out like that, if it was just happening on the screen that I was seeing. And I'm looking at you and you're going, what's going on? And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. It's just this weird loopy thing.
But it
would magnify up, it would zoom in and then just zoom back out. And then zoom in, but it wouldn't zoom in slowly. It would be normal, and then it would all of a sudden just the next second snap to being like very magnified.
So it wasn't like something was...
And then it would go down in. It was bizarre. It was so freaking weird, man. So anyway, but I'm telling you right now, man, you guys think I'm crazy, think we're doing whatever. I think that is going to get to the next, we're going to the next level.
Yep.
My friends, are Mothman encounters happening to this very day.
I don't know a lot about.
We don't know a lot about Mothman. It's crazy because there's no encounters in this area where we're at. There's no encounters in this region.
That's just we don't live anywhere near West Virginia or the whole Mothman.
And now there are some large winged creature stories that come up through here too much, but we've never really paid that much attention to them. But it's weird that we almost feel like the universe is leading us towards Mothman. We might try to do a Mothman investigation.
We've discussed this
before the spring. We might try to do it before the spring.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Ray gave you a little bit for the Buc-ee's turkey jerky fun.
So I will be at Buc-ee's. We're going to be going to Buc-ee's.
We'll have to do a live stream from Buc-ee's.
I can
watch you.
If not, we can just do a video and I'll put it up.
Stream it.
I'm getting so much stuff at Buc-ee's.
And when the Buc-ee's employees walk up and tell us, do you know who you're talking to right now?
Excuse me.
We're
Excuse
minor
me.
regional YouTube Dogman celebrities, and I will
Definitely not
be
vampires.
I will not be spoken to in that manner, sir.
But yeah, we are definitely hitting the Buckies. I always plan. Joe hates it, but when we do these things, I always have like an itinerary of things that I've planned, like roadside kind of things that we're gonna do. Like last time we went to LBL, we went to Hopkinsville, we went to Edgar Casey's grave.
Yep.
We went to that UFO, the Kelly goblins and all that stuff. So I always have little things that I do, but Bucky's is always at the top of the itinerary because I have to get my turkey jerky.
What the flock? I'd be cautious with CE5. You just don't know what you're connecting to. Oh, I agree with you. I don't think you're connecting with aliens.
We don't know what we're drawing in.
At the same token, it's got to come to a point where you're pushing the envelope because the same old ain't doing nothing.
And I think the term is shit or get off the pot.
Shit or get off the. It's time to shit or. Let me talk to you people in terms that you will understand. It is time to shit or get off the pot.
We have to split. Asked Jessi, did your vital signs change at all? I don't think we were monitoring.
We weren't monitoring, but we're looking at because who was it that originally suggested that? Somebody suggested it on the channel that we use.
Sheila?
Might have been Sheila Ebeline, that we use our bodies as biosensors, and we've got smart watches. Well, they're GPS watches, but they monitor like our pulse rate.
Now, you do remember when we did that live from the LBL from the massacre site, that when I started to get sick.
Oh, you got sick as a dog. Yeah.
My heart rate dropped to like
your heart rate was
really
low.
Nothing,
so
like it was really low. What's your heart rate at right now?
Oh, damn, I don't know. 69.
I'm at 61.
69.
69. Yeah.
Get that corn sight back on here. So much X talk. So much X Y.
Rev says, y'all are on the edge, and I believe y'all are strong enough to do the good y'all intend and mean to do. We are always
on the edge. Every person in every movie that opens up a hell gate thought the exact same way. You know?
We're doing it. We're just opening the hell mouth for a good reason.
What's that meme? You know, something about like, all the myths, the myths talk about hubris. But that's not me. I'm not like that. I'm better than that.
I'm better than that.
I might even be better than the gods. Anyway, so it might just be hubris. But guess what? At the same token, it's time to push the envelope some. We're just the same old ain't doing it, man. And it's it's time to push the boundaries and push the envelope. And some of it's not going to work. And some of it's got to, man. Some of it's got to. So
somebody was asking about what is CE5. It's a prescribed set of rituals, and we're just going to call them rituals, but it's protocols. It's a prescribed set of protocols that people use. It's sort of a meditation that is used in groups to elicit a response or contact from extraterrestrials. So that's kind of the gist of it.
Sheila Ebeline had mentioned, as far as Mothman, from Marcus's question, that there are flying somethings around the Chicago airport. Chicago airport does have a lot of Mothman sightings. There's just none in this area. We're going to have to
we ain't going to Chicago.
We ain't going to Chicago. No, we'll go to West Virginia and look around, but I ain't going to Chicago. Here we go. Another one. I had a massive feeling of dread and worry when you started that beacon. It ain't just us making it up. Okay.
Yeah.
It's people reported that to us going, listen, when you guys cranked that thing up, I felt very, very, very weird. I didn't feel good. Night, Paul.
Good night, Paul.
See you next Monday. Paul's our resident skeptic. It's as good a skeptic as you could have. You know what I'm saying?
The best.
So he's the best.
Paul keeps everybody honest.
He's respectful, but he's not afraid to share his opinion. And guess what? He makes us think in
That's
good
a cryptid
ways.
trying to get in the door.
That's a cryptid trying to get in the door right now.
It's our cat trying to get in the door.
Sweet God.
He's feeling better.
All right. So you guys probably hear that. So
he's feeling better.
Challenge to connect to the Loch Ness Monster via CE5.
No.
Sam Burton does not think there's a Loch Ness Monster.
Well, you know what? I wish that were true, Sam Burton, because I wish it didn't exist. That flippered fool. Jason Grizz Horrell says there have been some so-called Mothman sightings recently near Asheville, North Carolina.
I didn't know that. Have you heard any of that?
I have not heard about any.
We try to stay out of Asheville as much as possible.
That's for sure. There's a Spanish restaurant I like there, but we don't like going into cities very often. We're not city friendly anymore.
Joe is more than a man, yet you're less than a god, and he's doing a good job.
Oh
God, what are you talking about? I'm gonna get that on a shirt. Not making the Hellbent Holler shirts anymore.
Ivan Ramirez. Oh,
Would it kill you to hit the like
that's
button?
not Ivan Ramirez. It moved
Stephen
before I
Taylor.
clicked it. Stephen Taylor, good to see you, my man.
Stephen Taylor. Stephen, are you going to the conference? You're
Yeah.
not too terribly far from that.
Stephen, you need to come to the conference. Ivan Ramirez says, when is the next investigation?
We took this past weekend off, but we're out. We're out every weekend. It's just sometimes nothing happens, and it's sometimes we share like us going out just to kind of let you see what we do. But sometimes I'm just going, nothing happened. This is just we can't just release hours.
I'm working on the equinox investigation we did, but I have challenged myself to do it more like an actual documentary. So that's what I'm doing. It's taking me a little longer to do than just our regular videos that we put out. So the equinox thing's going to be more like it's going to be more like a documentary style thing. But this week we are going to the Tennessee Wildman and Cryptid Con. I'll take this opportunity to talk about that again. I'll be speaking on Saturday. He can come in. So I'll be speaking.
Show his feet. Show his freaking
Come here, baby.
Off. So show his feet.
This is Thomas. This is my puppy, and he's got little. Let's see. You can see he's got hands.
Check these damn things out.
He's a
see the thumbs?
polydactyl.
He can like manipulate stuff. He can pick up pencils.
Yeah, he's a polydactyl.
He's a freak of. He's a damn freak of nature.
He's
is what
my
he
little
is.
cryptid. But yeah, we're gonna be at the Tennessee Wildman conference this week, so that's taking up all this week. Next week we are filming a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a full schedule for this month.
Michael's talking about his brother saw Sasquatch in Outback Australia. We have a lot of people from Australia that chime in and have seen stuff. I would love to get into Australia eventually. So get my hat, my Crocodile Dundee hat,
Yeah, everybody's saying they had a massive feeling of dread and worry when we started the beacon.
Moondog Davis thinks that we will be abducted and show up 5 days later, completely mutated with super normal abilities.
How bad?
Hell yeah. All right. So, all right. What else we got?
Kentucky Boy was asking when the next I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Hit that.
When is the next LBL exploration? We're going to be doing something with small town monsters in the LBL, but that's going to be later in the year.
Yeah.
Right?
And we've also got, there'll be two separate LBL things going on. One for us, one for small town monsters.
Yeah.
And we will let you know when we do it. Marcus really is killing us with this generosity. He's killing us. Absolutely killing us. Can you imagine? He's talking about to Martin Groves. Can you even imagine this is where your destiny has ended up? You take care, brother. Thank you for your courage in delving for the truth and obvious adversity. Yeah, I mean, Martin did all this research and lived on the story for years until he decided to come forward with it. So I don't think I don't
think any of us anticipated doing what we do.
I did. I was voted most likely to
with all of this stuff.
I was voted most likely to hunt monsters. If you track down one of my old
when
yearbooks.
Joe and I first met, we made jokes about going and hunting Bigfoot together, and then look at us now. So, but I don't think any of us anticipated doing any of this like this. I think it just fate kind of pushes you in a direction, and you end up just doing something. I can't
see more Aussies, man. Man, we'd love to. You know what I'm saying? So.
We have a lot of Aussies.
We do have a lot of Aussies. So talking about drop bears, running after wombats and drop bears, cocaine drop bears, sir. So there we go. Y'all worried about me saying the P word on here. Look at people is discussed in our chat. You know what I'm saying? So it's
they don't mind you talking about that stuff. They do mind the other stuff. So
last thing I would want is a cat that could choke me in my sleep to savor that last breath. Yep. So
he's tried.
When we took him and got him fixed, we had him in like a plastic like tub, and then we put like one of those like accordion like gate things that like look like a lattice work that kind of like fold down. We put that over top of him, and he's in there. He was still mostly an outdoor cat, and he's on we got little towels down for him. The anesthesia starts to wear off, and this little paw comes up.
It's a hand. It's a straight up hand.
Comes and the thumb wraps around like the bars, and he starts like moving it like off the friggin' carton. And I'm yelling at Jessi. I'm going, get in here. You got to see this. And we just watched him jailbreak himself. It was the craziest thing ever.
Yeah.
You know? And we told the doctor about it afterwards, and we took him back to get his follow-up. And the doctor's like poking him with a pencil, and Tom like grabs the pencil and pulls it, and our doctor's just looking at him like going, if you guys ever want to like sell this cat, I want to buy this cat. So
Bill Evans, we got Buc-ee's news, everybody. There are now 2 Buc-ee's on your way to the conference. They opened a new one on I-40 exit 407. We try to avoid Asheville and Knoxville, so we're not going to be going by there, unfortunately. So it's going to be my Crossville Buc-ee's is where I'm going.
yeah. All right. Does Thomas have a Halloween costume? He has a Frankenstein head thing.
He has a Frankenstein hat.
Frankenstein hat.
Yeah.
So, Michael Russell's talking about, intrigued ever since my Aboriginal elders talked about creatures that were paranormal in nature and never to mess with them. Small creatures and large varieties also. Same thing that the indigenous people around here talk about, that there's things here that aren't people. They're not animals. Don't mess with them, even if they're friendly. Don't mess with them. That's the thing, is that all these cultures seem to they all have the same kind of jam about this stuff.
Stingray 1975 says, I wish somebody would remote view the Dyatlov Pass incident. Okay, so I want to tell you something I want to do.
Tell us something you want to do.
So I called Joe the other day because I'm listening to an interview with some guys from Project Stargate that were on Art Bell, because I listen to Art Bell probably about 18 hours a day. I'm listening to Art Bell, old Art Bell episodes. He had a couple of the people from
damn cat fight breaking out in the damn studio. See what we've done? We let one in, and now there's it's like 10 cats in here. Get out of here.
It's 2
The
cats.
hell? It feels like 10. Anyway.
He had a couple of the guys from Project Stargate, which was the CIA program for remote viewing, on his show, and they're talking about like the reality of remote viewing. You know, you'll have people that go on YouTube or whatever, and they talk about that they do remote viewing and blah, 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 blah. He asked them, what is the rate of success?
And these are the guys who did it for the government, right?
They did it for 20 years.
With a budget?
With like $1 million a year or something like that.
Probably more than that. And then a
It was
lab.
well, that was in the 80s.
And these were the guys that were tied in with like Ingo Swann, right?
They were trained with
Ingo Swann is like the,
So, the normal rate of predicting something for people on average is 50%. Heads or tails, 50%, right?
Sometimes you got it.
So they asked him, Art asked them, what is your rate of success with all of this training, all of this money, all of this time?
You got Ingo Swann giving you pointers.
61%.
So they know that there's something there.
But it's so unreliable.
Yeah.
John Alexander was talking about, John Alexander was the intelligence, the guy. He's like a reptilian intelligence guy. He's like the man when it comes to that stuff. And he specializes in non-lethal warfare as well. So he was talking about
the Skinwalker Ranch, the creepiest human being you've ever seen in your entire life.
Yes, lizard eyes. So he's talking about it as well. And he's like, it's sometimes they're on the money. It's just they're unreliable. A bullet is always reliable. These kind of people and what they do, it's just not there yet. The biological technology and unlocking it is just not there yet. So the rate of success is 61% with people who are like the top of the top, the best in the world. The rate of success is 61%. That's 11% more than the average human being when it comes to remote viewing. So I have decided, with all the spare time that I have,
yes.
I've decided I'm going to start learning the protocols for remote viewing. I'm going to learn the remote viewing protocols, and I'm going to start doing it, and I'm going to see.
And you're very intuitive as it is.
I'm very intuitive as it is. Yeah. But here's my added little thing. I'm going to start remote viewing places and do my remote viewing, and then I'm going to go there.
Yeah. And
so
do the remote viewing ahead of time. Say what you're seeing.
Yeah.
And then let's show up with a camera. And then show what we saw.
And then let's see what my success rate is doing Ingo Swann, the CIA protocols and stuff like that. So I'm getting all that stuff put together for that. So I'm going to start doing remote viewing. But just keep in mind, when people are telling you that I'm remote viewing this or that or this, 61% is the top of the top. So take it with a grain of salt.
Take it with a whole shaker.
Take it with a whole shaker of salt, because if somebody says they remote viewed the LBL and they talk about all this stuff, Joe and I have been to the LBL several times. We've been to this site, that site. We have checked this stuff out. We've seen it with our own 2 eyeballs, and the inaccuracies are mind blowing. So just take it with a shaker of salt. But the top remote viewers of the world, 61%.
Hold on, damn it.
But I would love to remote view the Dyatlov pass incident after I've kind of honed a little bit.
Sheila Ebeling just bought 6 books on remote viewing. How is that for?
I knew you were going to do that, Sheila. That's why
Mark Webster, thank you for that. Any update, follow-up on the cult activity you filmed? Yes. We have something coming up that ties in with that.
Yeah.
We have to approach that very cautiously. We stepped away from it for a while because we were getting too predictable up there. And but we do have some stuff coming up.
We discovered something that unsettled us to the point that we had to contact.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. So
a friend of ours.
Yeah, let's just, and we'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
So, but yes, we have something coming up on that. So.
Sorry, I was ranting. I've lost the chat.
I think people are pretty much used to us.
Everybody was demanding we let the cat in.
And now look what I'm dealing with.
And now you're dealing with a cat.
Stop it. Damn it.
Hey!
Quit. Good God. See what we've done.
He's biting the light.
Stop it.
He never behaves this bad.
He never behaves this bad. He got a little bit of attention. He thinks he's a star. He got his close up. Anyway. All right. Remote view of Buc-ee's. Now you're freaking... You're talking our
Roy
language.
Provencio says, what is the one question you would like to, I'm sure, ask Mr. Ron Moorhead? I'm going to try to ask Mr. Ron Moorhead several questions. So stay tuned to Hellbent Holler because I'm going to try to ask Mr. Moorhead several questions.
What would be a question you'd ask him? I got a question for you because I've thought about this often for years and I've heard conflicting stuff. When he was at that camp and recorded the Sierra sounds, did they ever actually see a Bigfoot? And if they saw a figure, could they make out that it was a Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Did they just hear that and assume it was a Sasquatch? I've heard that he had sightings down near the creek bed there. And I've had other people go, oh, no, he didn't see anything at all. And I'm
trying to remember because we've seen him talk about this.
And the one time that I saw him talk about it, he said that he had not seen anything, but then he said something that could lead you to believe that maybe he saw them down near the creek bed or the river bed or whatever.
So you want clarification?
I want clarification. Did you see a Sasquatch or did you assume that these were Sasquatch? Or maybe he doesn't even assume that they're Sasquatch. I don't know. Maybe he thinks there's something else. But I want to ask him that question flat out. Somebody says the best stuff y'all stop short of talking about. We have to. Some of the stuff we have to, and that's not even like trying to, it's just that when it involves other people, we have to try to be a little, and then other times because we have people that watch our channel that are not watching out of enjoyment. And we sometimes have to be a little
OPSEC.
Yeah, we have to practice some OPSEC there every once in a while. So.
Yeah, we have to kind of protect where we are for our own safety sometimes, or where we're going. So we can't talk about like plans or locations because there's a human element of saboteurs and weirdos. So
Marcus Aurelius, thank you. Military psychics and remote viewing would love to know past instances on mysteries and current day mysteries. I'm sure that it's still going on with the government. I'm sure they're still doing it. And they might even be better than 61% right now.
Yeah, they might be better. I mean, that was in the, it went into the early 90s, I believe. But yeah, the program officially shut down and was officially defunded. But you know how black budgets can be. So they might just say it was shut down because they might have hit a breakthrough. And they're like, okay, we've got to really put this underground.
Barton says that Ron told him he saw a Bigfoot once from 59 feet away at night. That's what I heard is that he saw something near the creek bed. And that's what I wanted to ask him. Did he see a Bigfoot or did he see a shape? And he assumed it was a Bigfoot. What did he see exactly? Because my thing with the Sierra sounds is, and we've talked about this in the past, it might be the fact that he's using analog equipment, but he's using digital. What we captured doesn't sound anything like the Sierra sounds. We even said that the other night. Listen, as weird as it is, we went, this ain't the Sierra sounds. ones. And there's really no other instances. Patterson-Gimlin film kind of stands alone, and then the Sierra Sounds kind of stand alone, but people report seeing these things all the time. Why is there not another version of the Sierra Sounds out there? Maybe not quite as good, but, you know. I'm watching him. He's out of control. Anyway.
I got him a tunnel today.
So, all right, guys, we're going to be wrapping it up here in a few minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to do last call because it's 9:20. Do last call on the chat. If you guys have anything you want to throw out for us, we will check that out. We will address that. I'm still trying.
That's a good question. I don't know if I've ever heard that. What the flock? I'd ask Ron Moorhead where the horses were hobbled and what their reaction was. They got up there on horseback. I don't know if I've ever heard him say anything about.
I think he said that the horses that they came up and it seems like the whatever it was interacted with the horses a bit. That there was.
Yeah, it's another good question to ask him. Let's ask him. Let's find out. So. Barton, I have a question. Where's Patty's butt crack? Barton and I both have similar feelings about the Patterson-Gimlin film, and it ain't the most popular feeling, like opinions on it. I always look at the Patterson-Gimlin. It's good. I don't know if it's a person in a costume or not. I don't know. I just say that what you see on the Patterson-Gimlin film does not match up with what a lot of people are reporting seeing.
Yeah.
What did you see? It was kind of sloppy looking, didn't really move that gracefully or that quick. Something like you see in the Patterson-Gimlin film, we should have something like that in a cage or stuffed in a museum right now. I don't see anything other than maybe their scarcity that it would be different from bagging a black bear.
Yeah.
But why has that not happened? So that's my thing with the Patterson-Gimlin film, is that to me, the Patterson-Gimlin film is not raises more questions than it does answers. So we'll leave it at that. All right.
It was in silhouette, Barton Henley says.
So see, there we go. How do we know that wasn't something else other than a Bigfoot? So there we go.
I know that he is interested in the more weird stuff, but I wonder if he has thoughts on the really weird stuff.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
Going into like the trickster side of things, that we're talking about elementals.
We need to do you hear us talk about the trickster and the element. It's hard to explain because you need a certain, he's out of control in here, man. He's just having a ball right now. Look at him.
Let him have his fun.
Where was I at? He's distracting. It's hard to explain the concepts of the trickster and the element because you need a certain background. And then even if you have like an anthropology or a background in sociology, you're stopping constantly, you know. I mean, the guy that wrote it has a doctorate in that, you know, or maybe he's got a master's in that. I don't know. But he's more educated in that than I am. And I have to constantly stop and cross-reference stuff, but I get the general gist of it. But it's as you've gotten more keyed into it, do you have to agree with what he's saying?
Yeah.
That a lot of this stuff, there's certain elements that follow a trickster kind of like archetype with it. So
and we've discussed that for a while. But we didn't really have the framework for it.
Well, then I
think we were kind of discussing it in a very rudimentary way.
Yeah. And you start looking at it and the language and the terms are different, but the gist is the same with a lot of what John Keel talked about. Yeah. So anyway, there we go.
War Criminal was asking about solar eclipse and cryptid activity. We don't have enough data for that. I don't
have enough data for that personally. So I can tell you that there is something with moon phases that goes on. And there's something that goes on with those liminal times of the year when it's crossing over. Summer solstice, the equinox. Yeah. And that was wild to me because I did not go into that expecting that. But there are
it seems like
times of the year that have cultural significance that there's something to it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and maybe things are lining up in a certain way.
Yeah, maybe it's
the way that everything comes into balance and that you talk about like the dark matter monsters, that these things interact with the environment completely differently. Maybe the environment interacts with them completely differently based on how it's balanced out.
Marcus Aurelius is blowing his Hellbent Holler fun tonight. His budget. Certain Sierra unexplainable sounds produced like a car door slamming. Could visual sightings also be produced not based in reality? Absolutely, they could.
A projection into the brain.
I'm not seeing this microphone in front of me. My brain is processing that, and that's how it's presenting it to me. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it could be just like that. It could be just something that's beamed into your brain, for lack of a better word. You know,
if you've got a bad brain.
A bad brain. You got a bad brain. We're eating pizza tonight. Matter of fact, we're getting into that pizza here in a moment. So
I picked up a pizza today. I had to go get my oil change and pick a pizza from our favorite pizza place.
They're calling him Marcus Warbucks. Yep.
Marcus.
Marcus, you ought to change your username to that. Somebody believes the trickster is a demon spirit. Michael Chun. The trickster in this is not necessarily a personification. It's not even really an archetype. It's kind of like a constellation of qualities that takes place, like chaotic change, liminal behavior.
And it doesn't have like a moral compass. It doesn't have any kind of like.
Sometimes chaos is good. It's not. But it's just. I don't want to get into it. We need to do a whole show on it. But all right, last call. Anybody got anything? Sugi, are you aware that the veil is thinner on winter solstice than on Halloween? I couldn't quantify that. I couldn't say that when it's thinner on one time than the other.
It should be on solstice. Yes. Yeah. So.
Why would you say that though? Because again, if you look at it, if it's just planetary based and it's just the stars aligning in the sky, yes, but I don't think that's all that's going on there. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's all that's going on there. I don't know. I think that the cultural significance that a large number of people put on certain dates play into stuff. Yeah. So, all right.
So it's just putting it out there in the zeitgeist. It's a little bit of the tulpa thing too.
People are calling it a night. So let's go ahead and wrap this up.
My birthday is winter solstice. So
her birthday.
So weird stuff happens on the winter solstice.
All right. So let's stick a fork in the show, shall we?
Yeah. All right, guys. If you are coming to the conference, come and talk to us. I'm sure you will. Come say hello to us.
No eye contact, though. Do not make eye contact. We don't shake hands. Matter of fact, we will have somebody there, and you can ask questions to them, and then they will convey the questions to us. How's that sound?
You know what they're all going to find out, though? My deep dark secret.
What's that?
That we're using a filter on all of this stuff. I'm actually a 56-year-old Italian man named Salvatore. So surprise when you see me. I'm a 56-year-old Italian man named Salvatore, and sorry, that's where the pizza came from.
Anyway.
But yeah, if you guys are coming to the conference, please come talk to us, hang out with us. I mentioned this to Joe. I know I always have high hopes for everything I do, and I always try to shoot for the stars. Anybody that's coming to the conference, I think we need to set up a time that we all meet like out front or at a certain spot inside the convention to do a Hellbender family photo. I would like to do that ideally. So we'll figure that out. And I'll see you guys at the conference. And it's going to be a blast. Make sure you have your notifications on. Just to be sure, go and check that you are still subscribed, still have your notifications on, have all that ready to go, because we are going to go live throughout the week and weekend, because we're leaving and we're heading down pretty soon. So have that ready, and we're going to be interviewing our friends, and we're going to be talking to our friends, and I'll be taking you around.
We haven't even really asked them if we can interview them yet. We just kind of made that assumption.
We're just going to bully them.
You kind of locked into it now.
You're bullied now. So, keep everything on, and we'll bring you guys our reporting from the conference as much as possible. We really appreciate you guys spending all this time with us. Shout out to Marcus Aurelius, the great stoic and the daddy warbucks of Hellbent.
And everybody else, Mark Webster. I don't even know who all it was. Everybody was extremely
Ray
Provencio, Arnaldo, Simon,
Ray again,
Marcus 10 million times.
Marcus is like buying all of our gas tickets.
Marcus,
to
I'm
Tennessee
telling you, man.
at
So
this
heck.
point.
And then Arcane Discoveries. James Rose, Catherine Gay, and Sherry started us off tonight. So thank you all so much if you're still in here. So
and we'll be I can't wait to show you all my Trugger snacks that I get at Buc-ee's. It's gonna be great. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate y'all. We'll put some music on, and you guys be safe and keep your notifications on. Thank you guys. Let me do this. This song is called The Slasher by Lennon Hutton. I know you guys want to know that.
Winking. So, yeah.
All right, guys. Let me get this down here. Look at this amateur hour. All right. Bye. Thank you. Have a great day.